We're gonna start off with the attacks that Zoran's been facing, okay, and how aggressive they have become. And obviously the last week has been an escalated line of attack. An escalated line of attack from Andrew Cuomo, who has run completely out of options and has decided to pull the age-old trick. Hey, guys, I know you don't like me. I know you keep calling me Andrew Cuomo cop rapist. I know you keep saying I'm responsible for the death of more New Yorkers than Muhammad Atta with the COVID, grandparents, boomer cost that I did. Okay. But I'll have you consider that my opponent is a brown man, a Muslim man, a Mohammedan. He will bring about jihad Sharia. Allahu Akbar. Okay? Allahu Akbar. He will make it so that you can only eat halal food and that pork will now be relegated to the black market. Have you thought about that, New York? Have you thought about that? Bet not. Bet not. You didn't. Now, of course, he's been doing that. And in the process of him doing that, Zoran came out and was like, enough is enough. Cut it with this racist nonsense. Now, I don't know how that will be received by New Yorkers broadly. I hope that New Yorkers will look at that and go, this is reprehensible. This is fucking disgusting. And Andrew Cuomo, you suck. Right? But obviously the media, which always has a penchant for drama, has decided to take Cuomo to task as well. Because they're like, bro, you keep saying your opponent, you agreed with a conservative radio talk show host that said that Zoran Mamdani would cheer on another 9/11. Right? What the fuck is going on? And Andrew Cuomo is just still doing the same shit. He's like, well, he hung out with HasanAbi. That's what he says. Like, it sounds unbelievable that I would be brought up this much in the fucking New York mayoral race. But here we are. I love that he's like, listen, you think that I'm Islamophobic? Well, guess what? Here's another Muslim guy that I think did 9/11. Excuse me. How dare you call me Islamophobic? It's not one but two Muslims I am attributing to 9/11. Excuse me, sir. And there's another third secret Muslim there too, which I'm attributing to Zoran Mamdani with the last time before 9/11 in the 93 World Trade Center bombings. These guys all hate the World Trade Center. Mamdani. He's gonna do another one. And it's so funny because, like, he makes it seem as though I'm like the secret puppet master pulling the strings. Or he acts like I'm running against him for some reason. Anyway, let's take a look.
His entire campaign started with division. The main issue he campaigned on was Gaza.
Literally not true. This is so fucking stupid. Zoran Mamdani straight up barely talked about Israel, barely talked about Palestine. Okay? He had in the past when he was doing his activism. His entire campaign revolves around affordability. Here, for those who didn't hear it, I'm going to turn it up more.
His entire campaign started with division. The main issue he campaigned on was Gaza. And
That's not true. As a matter of fact, it was you who literally kept bringing the conversation back to it because you kept saying, because you thought that people would actually ride for you aggressively. You old bitch. You're the one who kept talking about Israel. You're the motherfucker who kept the conversation staying on Israel. If anything, Zoran constantly was like, hey guys, I'm not running for mayor of Tel Aviv. I'm trying to be the mayor of New York. Can we shut the fuck up about this? And everybody knows it. If it wasn't the most viral moment from the last primary debates that unironically played a major role in Zoran breaching containment and cutting across the crowded primary as a singular force, because of that one moment where everybody's like, I will go to Tel Aviv. I'm going to go to Israel when I become mayor. I love the Holy Land. And Zoran was like, I'm not going to Israel, man. I'm the mayor of New York. I'm chilling here. Okay? It's so funny that they were constantly being like, well, what about Israel? What about Israel? And Zoran was like, guys, I don't know about the affordability crisis in Israel. They're doing a genocide. That's it. Can we please talk about New York now?
Israel and being pro-Palestinian. Let me ask you a question. You know how tense that issue was. You know how raw the feelings were.
It's so funny. He's just trying to angle it in a way where he doesn't offend the majority. He is trying to find a way to talk about it like he didn't literally say he would be Benjamin Netanyahu's lawyer, pro bono lawyer on his fucking ICC charge. International Criminal Court investigation into Benjamin Netanyahu being a war criminal. This dumb fuck literally came out and thought, I'll be a free lawyer for you, BB. Like he straight up thought that was going to be a banger. And everybody was like, why the fuck would I care about this? Like, why would I? Ew. Clearly, in terms of the New York mayoral race, most people don't give a fuck. Like, that's not the consideration. That's not the top priority. Israel's not the top priority for the New York mayoral race. And as a matter of fact, the reason why Zoran won the primaries was because he was like, I'm running for mayor of New York. Everybody calm down, okay? But the ones that do care about it, well, guess what? The New Yorkers that do care about Israel, maybe not as a top priority, but as an important priority nonetheless, the majority position was that they don't fuck with Israel. And that's the reason why he has to turn around and be like, well, Zoran was constantly bringing up Gaza. He was talking, Mamdani was talking about Gaza all the time, and it was a time when tensions were hot. He shouldn't have said anything while looking as brown as he does. I'll have you know, my opponent, ladies and gentlemen, is a Mohammedan. He is a secret Shia 12er, dividing the Sunni, not following the true Islam, which is the Sunni Islam. Allahu Akbar. We will all do takfir now. I am the true Salafist. And as a true Salafist, I have reverted to Islam. And we know that we cannot be run by a Shia 12. New Yorkers say no. They say yes to real Islam. They say yes to the restoration of the real caliphate. They say no to the Shia. They warn about the Shias. in my headcanon, ISIS Cuomo, Salafist Cuomo is what the real method is, okay? That's what it was. This entire time, we misjudged him. This entire time, we thought Andrew Cuomo was like, oh, I love Israel, whatever. It turns out he was actually just a Salafist who thinks there is a real ever-present danger within the mindset of the Shia.
About the Middle East situation on both sides. What does Gaza and Israel have to do with running for mayor of the city of New York? Am I missing something? Nope. Is the mayor a member of the United Nations? Is he part of a negotiating team? Why?
Wait, bro, it's so crazy. I feel like I'm losing my mind, bro. Brother, you literally signed on to offer pro bono legal counsel to Benjamin Netanyahu. Zoran didn't do any of that. Hello? That was his argument. You can't be taking that argument at the last second. His argument was like, bro, I'm the mayor in New York, okay? I'm just going to follow the law. Can we please just chill out?
Why? Because he wanted to use it for political purposes.
Oh my God. What a time. What a sign of the times, by the way. Fucking amazing. Guy who signed up to do pro bono legal counsel for Benjamin Netanyahu, who spent the entire time yelling at Zoran over Israel when he clearly wanted to focus on affordability, now asks why was Israel a main point of contention? Guy who signed up to do pro bono legal counsel for Benjamin Netanyahu, for Netanyahu, and spent the entire time yelling at Zoran over Israel. When Z clearly wanted to focus on affordability. Now ask, why was Israel a main point of contention in the New York City mayoral race? I wonder why, man. Is his dumbass brother campaigning for him, Chris? I don't know what he's up to. I think he's just doing a meltdown. It's like, you lost, man. You should have fucking dropped off. You should have saved yourself the dignity. Don't know why people convinced you. Don't know why people fucking convinced you that this would be a bar and that you would be fine, you know? You think we won't ever have to hear from Cuomo again after this? Oh, no, it's over. I think Zoran's going to win and then Cuomo's done. I mean, his political career is over. He got ritualistically fucking humiliated by...
6 years ago.
He got ritualistically humiliated by an underdog candidate, even though he represents a last name and a brand that is now forever tarnished in New York. So, like, for guys like Andrew Cuomo, one of the worst things that you could do is basically destroy your familial legacy, right? And while Mario Cuomo is like a revered figure, a respected figure overall in New York politics, which he literally, Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo ate off of for many, many years, both the Cuomo brothers have become a stain on that reputation and have unironically destroyed the familial legacy. And that is perhaps the worst thing you could do. I don't know about that. No, I think they're so disgraced after this because listen. The sex crimes or the murdering of the boomers by way of sending them to the death camps during COVID. Those qualities, like those things can be overlooked if you're a winner, if you got a killer instinct. Because politics is a disgusting game. It's a very cynical game. People do not have morals when they're conducting themselves in the political arena. But the one thing you can't do is all of those, all the things that you did, and also fucking lose. You cannot, in the eyes of the political arena broadly, you can't have all of those blemishes and fucking be a loser. You just can't do that. Because the entire worldview that these guys have designed around themselves is, yes, you can. Trump did. What are you talking about? Trump won twice. What do you mean? And when he lost the second time around, there was a major major restructuring. But then he won again. He won within he won the hearts and minds of the primary audience. And then he won again. Are you kidding me? He is exactly what I'm talking about. Trump is literally the method that I am pointing to. He is the example that I can present to you as a guy who wins no matter what, that ends up forcing the rest of the people to play ball. Do you think that after the 2020 defeat, the Republican Party didn't actually try to desperately restructure everything and get rid of the Trump scourge? The problem was the alternative was not someone that the base actually received positively. Ron DeSantis. They tried to stop Trump. They tried to stop the Trump train in the 2015 primaries. They failed. He took over by force. He lost in 2020. Institutional Republicans thought this is our opportunity, Mitch McConnell included. They thought this is our opportunity. We need to find an alternative. The alternative was little Rhonda, little meatball Ron. And he was Rizless. He was so Rizless that he had all of that institutional backing, and he still experienced a spectacular defeat in the hands of the Trump train. And we're back at it again. Trump motion, choo choo. What are we talking about? That's it. Anyway, this is also another reason why this fucking dipshit keeps losing, because he has horrible instincts.
Across the board. And probably, from my opinion, the most widespread attack on New Yorkers is when he refuses to denounce Hasan Piker. Who is Hasan Piker? Hasan Piker said America deserved 9/11. America deserved 9/11.
It's so funny that he keeps saying America deserved 9/11 because it brings out so many bangers, like Vika's Music made one.
How many thousands of New Yorkers have died in 9/11 and still dying because of 9/11 illnesses? And he will not denounce Hasan Piker?
He said it way more than me, bro. You kidding me? Yeah. Who's Hasan Piker? Failed the bus driver test in spectacular fashion. And I don't know why he keeps hitting that over and over again. Like, someone at his corner needs to be like, hey, I feel like someone in his corner is doing this because he's like, well, if we can't take out Zoran, maybe we can like tarnish Hassan's reputation somehow or something. I mean, he's like a big anti-Israel op. Like, come on, do us one good thing, Andrew. You're gonna fucking fail anyway. It's just like, it's just not, it's so dumb. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. New Yorkers, by and large, that are going out to vote are not voting on whether or not Zoran hung out with HasanAbi Piker. They're voting on a bunch of issues, right? Affordability. If they like Zoran, they're voting for Zoran for that reason. Maybe Israel, they're fearful that Zoran is going to be a threat to Israel or something somehow as the mayor of New York. I don't know, whatever kind of hysterical shit that they believe, or because they're conservative and they're fearful of what Zoran might do to the interests of the real estate developers or the Wall Street or whatever. Okay? But what they are not voting on is Hasan Piker, because New Yorkers, especially those who are going out to vote, don't know who the fuck Hasan Piker is. They don't know who I am. And the ones that do like me. The majority of the New Yorkers who know who I am, the majority of the New Yorkers don't know who I am. But the majority of New Yorkers who do know who I am like me, as opposed to those who don't. And the thing is, the ones who don't like me were never going to vote for Zoran anyway. If you are that invested in American politics, so much so that you know who I am, you're probably reading a lot of pro-Israel outlets. You are probably very pro-Israel. Okay? This is correct. I pulled 2 New Yorkers and 100% of them like you. Hell yeah. It's not about you. He uses it to make it look like Zoran is a Muslim terrorist. This is why he says, who is Hasan Piker? Hasan Piker said America deserved 9/11. He just says your name as an intro to the convo. I know. I understand that. Except it's not going to work because there is no direct association with Zoran Mamdani. Do you understand? There's no direct association. Like, I don't know how else to describe this to you guys, because this is an extremely online community, so it's a little difficult. It's a difficult thing to bring up on the right side, like on the right wing side, because anything that I bring up, any person that he's affiliated with that I bring up, you're probably going to know, except for, I guess, maybe Sid Rosenberg, right? None of you motherfuckers know who he is. And he is also a right-wing commentator. If I were to pull all of his fucking quotes and then be like, he went on Sid Rosenberg's fucking show, and this is what Sid had said in the past. I think he got fired for was it the Don Imus saga? Didn't he get fucking fired for that? He's probably a more known figure amongst New Yorkers and a more reviled figure amongst New Yorkers than I am. A lot of you don't know him, but a lot of people in New York know him, like a lot of older people in New York know him, because he got fucking fired for saying racist shit. You told us we don't know who he is, and then asked us why he got fired. Exactly. That's what I mean. That would be a silly line of attack. Mamdani is making his kids cry. Yeah. Anyway. And as I've said time and time again, this line of attack is even remotely sticky, at least in his mind, because my name is also Hasan, okay? That's it. Because as I've repeated over and over again, if Zoran had went on Bill Maher's show, okay, in the lead up to the election, and Bill Maher famously said much more wild shit about 9/11 right after 9/11, as a matter of fact, and he even got fired for it. It was a much bigger incident. And he was like, he went on Bill Maher's show, and Bill Maher famously said The 9/11 attackers were brave. You know what's not brave? He said, continued, lobbing Tomahawk missiles from thousands of miles away. Why won't Zoran condemn Bill Maher? It wouldn't work. No one would even think about it. They would even think less about it because this is not a thing that people are thinking about right now anyway. It's true. Look it up. Bill Maher did say those things, okay? Way back in the day. Right after 9/11, as a matter of fact. A week after 9/11.
You offend 9/11 families, you offend every New Yorker. Because 9/11 was an attack on all New Yorkers, and it traumatized all New Yorkers. So no, he's not the victim. He is the...
That's so fucked up, too. Dumbass. He was literally a New Yorker when 9/11 happened. He was first victimized and traumatized by 9/11 happening, and then he was further traumatized by the fact that he was a little Muslim boy in the aftermath of 9/11. What the fuck are you doing? What are you saying? God damn, this shit is so fucking annoying. He is not a victim of 9/11. What the fuck do you mean? He was literally a New Yorker during 9/11 as an 8-year-old. If all New Yorkers were traumatized by 9/11, then yeah, of course Zoran was also a part of the group that was traumatized by fucking 9/11. This is the unconscious bias that I try to explain to people, okay? And it even happened with my statements on 9/11. I wasn't in America at the time. I was in Turkey. But when I said America deserved 9/11, I followed that up with, we did. We deserved it. We totally deserved it, okay? I was talking about blowback and also saying I'm a part of the in-group. But the unconscious bias in that regard is that if you're Muslim, you're not a part of the in-group. You can't be victimized of this in any capacity. Okay? That's it. That's the fucking point. Do you understand? Yeah, that's the reason why they come for me and not the Chapo or the blowback guys. Like, Zoran went on the fucking Chapo course by Nick Mullen of Cumtown fame. There's a reason why people don't give a shit about any of that. Well, partially because they're not as, I would say, like, there's no brand visibility for someone like myself either. But there's even less brand visibility for them overall. But they're also not Muslim. And therefore, they haven't had their big media blow up moment on an issue such as that one, even if they obviously agree with me.
Offender. And he has done a great deal of damage. Now, is it unusual to see people playing politics by trying to divide? No. He has been offensive across.
Yeah. This is a horrible line of retaliation. It's a horrible line of retaliation. And this is a more in-depth approach to Zoran's speech from yesterday, talking about the attacks that he received that have escalated in intensity in these last couple of weeks, especially this past week.
Ago, shortly after I had announced I was running for assembly, a well-meaning Muslim uncle pulled me aside. He smiled softly and looked at me with care. In a quiet voice, he told me I did not have to tell people I was Muslim. His eyes kind, his beard proud, and his face heavy with the implication of the unsaid. I had not learned the lesson that he had been taught time and again. It is the lesson that safety could only be found in the shadows of our city, that it is in those shadows alone where Muslims could embrace the fullness of our own identities, and that if we are to emerge from them, then it is in those shadows where we must leave our faith. These are lessons that so many Muslim New Yorkers have been taught again and again. And over these last few days, these are the lessons that have become the closing message of Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, and Eric Adams. Yesterday, Andrew Cuomo laughed and agreed when a radio show host said that I would cheer another 9/11. Yesterday, Eric Adams said that we can't let our city become Europe. He compared me to violent extremists, and he lied when he said that our movement seeks to burn churches and destroy communities. The day before that, Curtis Sliwa slandered me from a debate stage when he claimed that I supported global jihad. And every day, Super PAC ads imply that I am a terrorist or mock the way I eat, push polls that ask New Yorkers questions like whether they support invented proposals to make halal mandatory, or political cartoons that represent my candidacy as an airplane hurtling towards the World Trade Center. But I do not want to use this moment to speak to them any further. I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of the city. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab. I want to speak to the Muslim city worker, whether they teach in our schools or walk the beat for the NYPD. New Yorkers who all make daily sacrifices on behalf of this city only to see their leaders spit in their face. I want to speak to every child who grows up in New York marked as the other, who is randomly selected in a way that rarely feels random, who feels that they carry a stain that can never quite be cleaned. Growing up in the shadow of 9/11, I have known what it means to live with an undercurrent of suspicion. I will always remember the disdain I faced, the way my name could immediately become Muhammad, and how I could return to my city only to be asked in a double-mirrored room at the airport if I had any plan of attacking it. And since I was very young, I have known that I was spared the worst of it. I was never pressured to be an informant like a classmate of mine. I have never had the word terrorist spray-painted on my garage as one of my staff had to endure. My mosque has never been set on fire. To be Muslim in New York is to expect indignity. But indignity does not make us distinct. There are many New Yorkers who face it. It is the tolerance of that indignity that does. Since I announced my candidacy for mayor 1 year ago yesterday.
I'm not doing IRL today, but Felix Biederman will be making an appearance in a little bit. So that's the secret guest for the day. So get fucking stoked on that shit. Okay? That's right. Long awaited, the return of the prodigal son. You feel me? Finally needed some vape reviews. Yeah, I got you.
I've sought to be the candidate fighting for everyday New Yorkers, not simply the Muslim candidate. I've carried these indignities with me each moment of this race, doing so all the while as the first major Muslim candidate for mayor in New York City history. I thought that if I could build a campaign of universality, I could define myself as the leader I aspire to be, one representing every New Yorker, no matter their skin color or religion. I thought if I worked hard enough, it would allow me to be that leader. And I thought that if I behaved well enough or bit my tongue enough in the face of racist, baseless attacks while returning back to my central message, it would allow me to be more than just my faith. I was wrong. No amount of redirection is ever enough. In doing this, I have told the wide-eyed young boy in Jackson Heights or the first-time voter in Parkchester that they too should remain in the shadows. I am becoming that same uncle who took me aside. No more.
He's kind of owning his own uncle, not gonna lie. I don't really think about it like that. I guess technically when I've talked about my grandfather and his exact, like, the same talk that my the same talk that my granddad had with me, saying, Hasan, don't tell people you are Muslim. Don't tell people your name is Hasan. Are you crazy? What are you doing? Turns out Turns out we were just dunking on our relatives, you know? Use your middle name. Dogan. It sounds Irish. It's not 1-to-1, but as a gay guy, elder gays gave us the same talk, just a safety thing. Yeah, no. Ireland just voted in an independent left-wing female president. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, the baby Huey Vance, JD Vance said that, yeah, according to Zoran, the real victim of 9/11 was his auntie who got some allegedly bad looks. Like, do you guys understand what's going on, right? Like, you can't on the one hand be like 9/11 victimized all New Yorkers except for the Muslims. Okay, you're proving the fucking point. If 9/11 traumatized all New Yorkers, that also includes Muslim New Yorkers. They're fucking New Yorkers, dipshit. And then they got additionally traumatized because they were seen as the other that was responsible for 9/11 all of a sudden. It's so fucking stupid. Pisses me off.
The dream of every Muslim is simply to be treated the same as any other New Yorker. And yet for too long we have been told to ask for less than that and to be satisfied with whatever little we receive. No more. For as long as we have lived, we have known that no matter what anyone says, there are still certain forms of hate acceptable in this city today. Islamophobia is not seen as inexcusable. One can incite violence against our mosques and know that condemnation will never come. Elected officials in this city can sell T-shirts calling for my deportation without fear of any accountability. The consequences are stark. More than 1 million Muslim New Yorkers exist in this city only to be made to feel as if guests in our own home. No more. We stand on the precipice of an election, but that is not what today is about. We know that in less than 2 weeks, we will say goodbye to a disgraced former governor and our current indicted mayor. The bigger question is whether we are willing to say goodbye to something much larger. It is whether we are willing to say goodbye to anti-Muslim sentiment that has grown so endemic in our city that when we hear it, we know not whether the words were said by a Republican or by a Democrat. We know only that it was spoken in the language of the politics of this city. In an era of ever-diminishing bipartisanship, Islamophobia has emerged as one of the few areas of agreement. And while I appreciate all who have rushed to my defense over the past 2 days, I think of those Muslims in this city who do not have the luxury of being the Democratic nominee, who do not have the luxury of being deemed worthy of solidarity. While my opponents in this race have brought this hatred to the forefront, this is just a glimpse into what so many Muslims have had to endure every day across the 5 boroughs that we call home. And while it would be easy to say that this is not who we are as a city, we know the truth. This is who we have allowed ourselves to become. A question lies before each of us. Will we continue to accept a narrow definition of what it means to be a New Yorker that makes smaller the number of those guaranteed a life of dignity? Will we remain in the shadows, or will we together step into the light? There are 11 days remaining until Election Day. I will be a Muslim man in New York City each of those 11 days, and every day that follows after that. I will not change who I am. I will not change how I eat. I will not change the faith that I am proud to belong to. But there's one thing I will change. I will no longer look for myself in the shadows. I will find myself in the light.
It's a beautiful speech.